Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. What if the life you dream about isn't waiting for you in the future, but is actually being built by what you choose to do in this very moment? What if the difference between the person you are today and the person you could become tomorrow is not luck, not talent, not opportunity, but simply where you place your focus right now? Your focus shapes your future. It sounds simple, but it is one of the most powerful truths about life. Think about it for a moment. Every single day, your mind is making choices about what deserves your attention. Sometimes you focus on your goals, sometimes on your fears, sometimes on what others are doing, and sometimes on the doubts inside your own head. The direction of your life slowly begins to follow the direction of your attention. What you repeatedly think about, what you repeatedly give energy to, and what you repeatedly concentrate on begins to shape the person you become. Many people believe that success is only about talent or luck. They believe that some people are simply born with the right opportunities. But when you look closely at the lives of people who truly grow and succeed, you often notice something different. They learned how to control their focus. They understood that their mind is like a spotlight. Wherever that spotlight shines, growth happens. If you shine it on learning, you grow in knowledge. If you shine it on discipline, you grow in strength. But if you shine it constantly on fear, comparison, or negativity, those things grow as well. The challenge in today's world is that our focus is constantly being pulled in different directions. We wake up and immediately see messages, notifications, opinions, and endless information competing for our attention. Without realizing it, we start giving pieces of our energy to everything around us. One moment, we are thinking about our dreams. The next moment, we are worrying about someone else's success. And the next moment, we are doubting ourselves because we feel behind. Slowly, this scattered focus drains our motivation and weakens our progress. But the moment you learn to control where your focus goes, your life begins to shift in a powerful way. When you stop constantly looking at what everyone else is doing and start paying attention to your own path, you begin to understand yourself better. You become more aware of your habits, your strengths, and the areas where you need to grow. Instead of reacting to the world around you, you begin shaping your own direction. Focus is powerful because it influences your actions. When your mind is focused on improvement, you naturally start making better choices. You begin to spend your time differently. Instead of wasting hours on things that bring no value, you invest that time in learning, practicing, and building your skills. Instead of feeding your mind with doubt, you start feeding it with determination. Over time, these choices compound. The small efforts you make today begin to create bigger opportunities tomorrow. Imagine two people starting at the same point in life. Both have the same amount of time, the same number of hours in a day, but one person constantly focuses on distractions, complaints, and comparison. The other person focuses on growth, discipline, and progress. At first, the difference between them may seem small, but after weeks, months, and years, that difference becomes enormous. One person moves forward while the other feels stuck, and the reason is not always intelligence or talent. Often the reason is simply where their focus was directed every day. Another important truth is that focus also shapes your mindset. When you constantly focus on problems, your mind begins to believe that life is full of obstacles. You begin to see difficulty everywhere. But when you focus on solutions, learning, and improvement, your perspective changes. Challenges start to feel like lessons instead of barriers. You begin to approach life with curiosity and resilience instead of fear. This does not mean that distractions will disappear. Life will always present moments of doubt, pressure, and uncertainty. But the difference between people who move forward and those who remain stuck is their ability to return their focus to what truly matters. They remind themselves why they started. They bring their attention back to their goals, their growth, and their purpose. When you truly understand the power of focus, you start treating your attention like something valuable. You stop giving it away to negativity, criticism, or pointless comparisons. Instead, you invest it in things that move your life forward. Each moment you choose growth over distraction becomes a step toward the future you want to create. Over time, these focused moments transform your habits, shape your character, and guide your life toward the direction you once only imagined. Every moment is valuable, yet most people move through their days without truly realizing how powerful a single moment can be. We often think of life in terms of years. We say things like, "I will start next year," or "I still have a lot of time." But life is not actually built in years. Life is built in moments. Small, quiet, Ordinary moments that pass by quickly but carry the power to shape your future. Every action you take, every decision you make, every thought you repeat happens in a moment, and those moments slowly stack together to create the direction of your life. The problem is that many people underestimate the value of these moments. They believe that big success comes from big actions, huge opportunities, or dramatic changes. But when you look closely at the lives of people who achieve meaningful things, you will often discover that their success was not created by one giant moment. It was created by thousands of small moments where they chose discipline instead of comfort, focus instead of distraction, and growth instead of excuses. Think about how easy it is to lose a moment. One notification appears on your phone and suddenly 20 minutes disappear. One negative thought enters your mind and suddenly your motivation fades. One moment of procrastination turns into an hour of delay. These small losses may seem insignificant at first, but when they repeat every day, they slowly begin to shape your habits. Habits shape your behavior, and behavior shapes your life. But the opposite is also true. One focused moment can create a powerful shift. One moment where you decide to start learning something new. One moment where you choose to keep going even though you feel tired. One moment where you stop doubting yourself and start believing that progress is possible. These moments may feel small in the present, but they hold the seeds of transformation. When people say that time is precious, they are not just speaking about the future. They are speaking about the present moment you are living right now. The present moment is the only place where change can happen. You cannot improve yesterday, and you cannot control tomorrow completely. But this moment, the one you are living in right now, is the place where you can take action, make a decision, and begin moving in a better direction. Unfortunately, many people allow their moments to be controlled by distraction. The world is full of things that compete for your attention. Endless entertainment, constant comparisons, and the pressure to keep up with others can make it easy to lose track of your own path. Hours pass. Days pass, and sometimes even years pass before people realize that they have spent too much time focusing on things that did not truly matter. Understanding the value of every moment changes the way you approach your life. You begin to realize that each moment carries an opportunity. It might be an opportunity to learn something new, to practice a skill, to improve your mindset, or to take a small step toward your goals. Even moments of difficulty hold value because they teach resilience and patience. When you see life through this perspective, you stop waiting for perfect conditions and start making the most of what you have right now. This awareness also helps you become more intentional with your choices. Instead of drifting through your day on autopilot, you start asking yourself simple but powerful questions. Is this moment helping me grow? Is this action bringing me closer to the person I want to become? When you begin asking these questions, you naturally start guiding your time toward things that truly matter. Another powerful truth is that moments compound. Just like small savings grow into a large investment over time, small moments of effort grow into significant results. 10 minutes of learning each day may not seem like much, but over a year, it becomes dozens of hours of knowledge. A few minutes of daily practice may not feel extraordinary, but over time, it builds mastery. Consistency in small moments creates progress that becomes impossible to ignore. This is why people who respect their moments often build remarkable lives. They understand that greatness is not created overnight. It is created through daily attention to small details, small improvements, and small efforts. While others wait for motivation or a perfect opportunity, they quietly invest their moments in actions that move them forward. Once you begin to truly appreciate the value of a moment, you start living with greater awareness. You stop wasting energy on things that drain your focus. You become more mindful of where your time goes. You begin to see every moment as a chance to build something meaningful, a chance to strengthen your character, improve your abilities, and move closer to the life you want to create through the choices you make right now in this moment. Stop waiting for the perfect time. This is one of the biggest lessons people eventually learn in life, often much later than they wish they had. Many individuals spend years waiting for the right moment to begin something meaningful. They wait for the right opportunity, the right conditions, the right level of confidence, or the right approval from others. But the truth is that the perfect time rarely arrives in the way we imagine it. Life does not pause and prepare the ideal stage for our dreams. Instead, it moves forward constantly, and the people who grow are usually the ones who decide to begin, even when conditions are not perfect. Waiting often feels comfortable because it gives the illusion of safety. When you delay action, you avoid the risk of failure, criticism, or uncertainty. You tell yourself that you will start when you feel more ready, when you have more knowledge, or when life becomes less complicated. But while you are waiting, time continues to pass. Days quietly turn into months, and months eventually turn into years. The opportunity that once felt close slowly begins to fade, not because it was impossible, but because it was postponed too many times. Many people believe that motivation must come before action. They think they need to feel inspired or confident before they can begin working toward their goals. However, real progress usually works in the opposite direction. Action creates motivation. When you take even a small step forward, your mind begins to see evidence that change is possible. That small step builds confidence, and that confidence encourages you to take the next step. Momentum begins to grow from movement, not from waiting. Another reason people wait is the fear of imperfection. They want everything to be planned perfectly before they begin. They want to avoid mistakes, avoid discomfort, and avoid looking unprepared. But every meaningful journey includes uncertainty. Every skill takes time to develop. Every successful person you admire once stood at the starting point with limited experience and plenty of doubts. The difference is that they chose to begin despite those doubts. Starting imperfectly is far more powerful than waiting endlessly for perfection. When you begin with what you have, you start learning immediately. Each attempt teaches you something valuable. Each mistake reveals a new lesson. Slowly, through repetition and experience, your abilities grow stronger. What once felt difficult becomes familiar, and what once felt impossible begins to feel achievable. Consider how many opportunities in life exist only for a short period of time. A new idea, a new passion, or a new chance to improve may appear unexpectedly. If you hesitate too long, that window of opportunity may close. Waiting for the perfect moment can cause you to miss the moment that was actually good enough to start. Another important realization is that growth happens during the process, not before it. Many people think they must become confident before taking action, but confidence is often built through action itself. Each step forward proves to you that you are capable of more than you previously believed. Each challenge you face strengthens your resilience and expands your perspective. Taking action also changes the way you see time. When you begin working toward your goals, your days become more purposeful. You stop feeling like life is simply passing by. Instead, you feel like you are actively shaping your future. Even small efforts begin to feel meaningful because they represent movement in the direction you care about. The idea of the perfect time can also be misleading because life will always contain challenges. There will always be responsibilities, unexpected difficulties, and moments when you feel tired or uncertain. If you wait for a time when life is completely calm and effortless, you may find yourself waiting forever. The people who make progress learn to move forward even when circumstances are not ideal. This does not mean rushing blindly or ignoring preparation. Planning and learning are valuable, but they should support action rather than replace it. Preparation becomes powerful when it leads to movement. Without action, even the best plans remain only ideas. When you stop waiting and begin taking steps today, you create something far more powerful than a perfect plan. You create momentum. Momentum has a unique energy because it keeps you moving forward even on days when motivation is low. It turns progress into a habit and growth into a natural part of your life. The moment you decide to begin, you shift from dreaming about change to actively creating it. Instead of wondering what might happen in the future, you start shaping that future through your daily choices. Progress may start slowly, but with patience and consistency, those small beginnings grow into something meaningful. What once seemed distant becomes closer with every step you take, and the journey that once felt intimidating becomes a path you are already walking through. The decision you make today to stop waiting and start moving forward with the time you already have right now. Protect your time and energy because they are two of the most valuable resources you will ever have. Unlike money, once time is spent, it can never be earned back. Unlike physical strength, once energy is drained, it becomes harder to think clearly, stay motivated, and move forward with purpose. Yet many people give away these resources freely without even realizing it. They allow distractions, unnecessary worries, and the opinions of others to slowly consume the very energy they need to build the life they want. Every day you wake up with a limited amount of attention, focus, and emotional strength. Think of it as a reserve of energy that you can choose to invest wisely or waste carelessly. The problem is that the modern world constantly competes for that reserve. Notifications, endless scrolling, comparisons on social media, and conversations that bring negativity can quietly drain your mental space. By the end of the day, many people feel exhausted even though they have not truly worked toward their own goals. Their energy has simply been scattered across too many things that do not truly matter. Protecting your time and energy begins with awareness. You start noticing how certain activities make you feel. Some things strengthen your mind, inspire new ideas, and help you grow. Other things leave you feeling drained, distracted, or discouraged. When you become aware of these patterns, you gain the power to make better choices about where your attention should go. One of the biggest ways people lose their energy is through comparison. It is easy to look at the lives of others and feel like you are falling behind. You see someone achieving something impressive, and suddenly your focus shifts from your own progress to someone else's success. Instead of feeling motivated, you feel pressured or discouraged. Over time, this constant comparison drains confidence and steals the joy from your own journey. Another way time and energy disappear is through unnecessary worry. Many people spend hours thinking about situations they cannot control. They replay conversations in their minds, imagine negative outcomes, or stress about opinions that may never even matter. This mental habit consumes enormous amounts of energy without producing any meaningful result. When you learn to recognize these patterns, you can begin redirecting your thoughts toward actions that actually move your life forward. Protecting your time also means learning how to say no. This can be difficult because many people want to be helpful, liked, or accepted by others. But every time you say yes to something that does not align with your priorities, you are saying no to something that does. Your time is limited, and if you fill your schedule with things that do not support your growth, you leave little space for the things that truly matter. Successful people are not just productive because they work harder. They are productive because they are selective. They choose carefully where their attention goes. They understand that focus requires boundaries. They protect the hours of their day that allow them to learn, create, and improve. While others spend time reacting to every distraction, they intentionally invest their energy into meaningful progress. Another important part of protecting your energy is managing the people and environments around you. The conversations you engage in, the media you consume, and the environment you spend time in all influence your mindset. Positive and supportive influences can uplift your motivation and inspire growth. On the other hand, constant negativity, criticism, or drama can slowly drain your enthusiasm and confidence. This does not mean avoiding challenges or difficult conversations, because those are a natural part of life. Instead, it means becoming mindful of what consistently fills your mind. If something repeatedly leaves you feeling drained without helping you grow, it may be worth reconsidering how much of your time it deserves. When you begin protecting your time and energy, you start experiencing a powerful shift. Your days feel more intentional. Instead of feeling pulled in many directions, you feel more focused and calm. Tasks that once felt overwhelming become manageable because your attention is no longer scattered across endless distractions. This awareness also strengthens your discipline. When you recognize how valuable your time truly is, you become less willing to waste it. You begin treating your hours like an investment. Each moment becomes an opportunity to build knowledge, strengthen your abilities, or move one step closer to your goals. Over time, this habit creates a powerful ripple effect in your life. By protecting your time and energy, you give yourself the space to think clearly, act purposefully, and grow consistently. While others may continue to feel overwhelmed by distractions, you begin creating a life guided by intention, where your focus remains on the things that truly matter and your energy is directed toward building the future you want to see unfold. Through the choices you make each day with the time, you decide to protect and value more deeply than before. Small, consistent actions create big results, yet many people overlook the power hidden in small efforts. We often imagine success as something dramatic, something that happens suddenly through one big opportunity or one powerful moment. But when you look closely at the journeys of people who achieve meaningful things, you rarely see a single event that changed everything overnight. Instead, you see a long trail of small, repeated actions performed day after day, often quietly and without recognition. These small actions may seem ordinary in the beginning, but over time, they create extraordinary results. Human nature often pushes us to seek immediate results. When we start something new, we want to see progress quickly. We want to feel that our effort is producing visible change right away. But growth does not always appear instantly. Learning a skill, improving your mindset, or building something meaningful takes patience. At first, the progress may feel almost invisible. The first few days of practice may not show a big difference. The first few weeks of effort may feel slow. This is where many people give up, believing that their actions are not working. What they fail to realize is that progress is often happening beneath the surface. Just like a seed planted in the ground, growth begins quietly before it becomes visible. The roots develop first, strengthening the foundation. Only later does the plant begin to rise above the soil. In the same way, your small daily efforts are building the foundation for future success, even when the results are not immediately obvious. Consistency is what turns small actions into powerful change. 1 hour of focused work in a single day may not transform your life, but 1 hour repeated every day for months can create remarkable improvement. 10 minutes of learning each day may not seem like much, but over time, it builds knowledge that compounds. Each small action adds another layer of progress, another step forward, another piece of experience that strengthens your ability. Imagine someone who decides to improve their skills little by little every day. They read a few pages, practice a little longer, reflect on what they learned, and continue the process again tomorrow. At first, their progress may appear slow compared to someone who tries to rush through everything at once. But over time, their consistency becomes their greatest advantage. While others burn out or lose motivation, they continue moving forward steadily. Months later, the difference between consistent effort and occasional bursts of motivation becomes clear. Another reason small actions matter is because they shape your habits. Habits are powerful because they influence your behavior automatically. When you repeat an action consistently, it becomes part of your routine. Instead of forcing yourself to do it every time, it becomes something your mind and body naturally expect. This reduces the amount of effort required to stay disciplined because the behavior becomes familiar. Over time, these habits begin shaping your identity. When you consistently study, you begin to see yourself as someone who values learning. When you consistently work on your goals, you begin to see yourself as someone who is dedicated and persistent. This shift in identity strengthens your motivation because you are no longer just trying to achieve something. You are becoming the type of person who lives that way naturally. Small, consistent actions also create momentum. Momentum is powerful because it builds confidence. Each small success reminds you that progress is possible. Each completed task gives you a sense of achievement that encourages you to continue. Slowly, this positive cycle strengthens your belief in your own ability to grow. The opposite is also true. When actions are inconsistent, progress becomes unpredictable. Motivation rises and falls, and without consistent effort, it becomes difficult to build meaningful momentum. This is why discipline often matters more than intensity. A steady pace sustained over time will usually produce better results than occasional bursts of extreme effort followed by long periods of inactivity. Another important truth about small actions is that they are easier to start. Big goals can sometimes feel overwhelming. When something appears too large or too difficult, the mind naturally resists beginning. But when you break that goal into small, manageable actions, the task becomes less intimidating. One small step feels possible, and once you begin, the next step often becomes easier. Over time, these small steps begin connecting together like pieces of a puzzle. Each one adds to the larger picture of your progress. What once seemed like a distant dream slowly becomes something real and achievable. The person you become through consistent effort is stronger, wiser, and more capable than the person who first started the journey. The beauty of small, consistent actions is that anyone can begin them. You do not need perfect conditions, extraordinary talent, or unlimited resources. All you need is the willingness to take one small step today and then repeat that step again tomorrow, trusting that with patience and persistence, those small actions will gradually grow into the kind of results that once seemed far beyond your reach through the quiet power of consistency practiced day after day.